week's episode of Naruto Shippuden, Madara Uchiha is finally revived from the dead thanks to the powers of Black Zetsu. The mightiest Uchiha of all time's resurrection is a cause for celebration because it finally means we're getting back to the war and we're finally gonna get some kick-ass action scenes, which this episode actually had. However, it was not a perfect episode. The first half in particular was kinda slow because it's pretty much the same old Obito rhetoric that we've been seeing over the course of the last couple weeks. If you saw the previous episodes of him lying down in the dirt, you've seen it this week. However, when Black Zetsu finally decides to take over, things really get kicked up to 11, and it's very exciting. And I especially love how they handled that scene where his hand comes out of the ground and actually goes into Obito's chest. It's very creepy looking and it's very quick, and it's followed immediately by the revival of Madara. And there's a lot of little details in his revival that I really like, especially how his eyes crumble away and they go into this like pitch blackness look. I just love the animation of that scene, and this is when he just decides to go crazy and start attacking everybody. And there's a really great scene where he's fighting against Sasuke, and he blocks one of his attacks where he's using his sword, and it actually goes right through his arm, and then he actually catches the blade. It's a really intense scene, and then he just blows everybody away with this really destructive fire and mist. Not to mention, how hardcore was that when Sasuke actually hit him with Amaterasu, and he just allowed it to burn his armor away. He doesn't even have a need for his armor anymore, and the amount of confidence that he actually has now that he's actually alive is almost disturbing. You really don't want to fight against this guy, and he has his eyes, or lack thereof, set on actually getting the Bijou and taking over their power so that he can become the brand new Jinchuriki. And I love how the episode ends with him standing on a cliff and looking at all of the beasts as he's getting ready to go on this massive assault. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden? A very simple episode that really just, I wish more could have happened. The first half was just so slow and really didn't do too much for me, but the minute that Black Zetsu appeared and Madara was arrived, it really just had my attention. And I'm really glad that they gave us a little bit of action in this scene. Like, immediately as he's revived, he just plows right towards Naruto and ends up kicking him into a wall. There's a little bit of good choreography, actually, which is definitely the highlight of this week's episode. And unfortunately, I am a little down because it looks like the preview for the next episode is not going to have the greatest animation and artwork. And that's a shame because it's honestly one of the coolest chapters of the final arc of the series. And we're getting there. Little by little, we're getting there. And I love the reintroduction of Black Zetsu again. I especially loved how they animated him escaping from his previous battle with Chojuro, how he escapes into the ground almost like a creepy little snake. He even has the same smile. And I especially love how he looks when he's actually attached to Obito, because he does have that really big, creepy, almost Joker-like smile, which is very similar to the anti-spiral from Gurren Lagann. If you haven't seen Gurren Lagann, what the hell is wrong with you? Check it out. It's the greatest mecha series ever made. Maybe the greatest anime series of all time, but that's a subject for another video. What I will say is this week's episode was a lot of fun despite the fact that it was very slow in the first half of the episode. It didn't have the best artwork and animation, but it was really exciting getting to see Madara come back. And I think one of the biggest missed opportunities is the big orgasmed smile that he has when he actually is revived for the first time. I think they didn't really handle it that well in the anime version, especially because they make it look so cool in the intro when you actually see all of the weird smoke coming off of his body as he's coming back to life. I just thought that looked really cool in the manga version, and it looked just sort of okay in the anime version. However, Madara's back, he's alive, he's getting ready to kick some ass, and he did a lot of that this week, and he's getting ready to go after a lot of big monsters. So at least it's going to be really entertaining and awesome, and we're back to the canon material. But it is interesting to note that coming up soon, there apparently is going to be a brand new filler arc, which is going to be all about the Chunin exams from the other previous rookie characters, stuff that we never actually got to see. I don't know how long this filler is going to go on for. It could be very short, or it could actually go on for a good while, but in all fairness, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing this because it's material we were never even shown or even hinted at, and they could actually do something really nice with this. For all we know, we might get some really great new characters out of this and some really great action scenes, and I'm kind of curious to see what actually happened during that exam, if they mix things up. And it's just going to be good to actually have some focus on some of those other side characters again, which frankly, they're awesome. They're really what make up the backbone of the Naruto series, so we should be excited for that. We need to remember, the manga series will always be there, and we can always enjoy that for what it is. But let's just enjoy this last ride in the Naruto anime series, because before we know it, guys, guys, it's gonna be gone. Although we do have a lot of new stuff to look forward to with the Part 3 series, the fact that they just announced a brand new movie for 2015, which that's pretty much all they've said about it, aside from what the new characters are going to be in the film. And then The Last just came out, which apparently broke some pretty big records over the weekend when it was released, and I can't wait to see that. So it's still a really good time to be a Naruto fan. So like I said, let's just sort of savor this while we can. Otherwise, this week's episode was okay. It was an average episode. It had some pretty good action in it, and that's really what saved it. So I'm going to give this week's episode a 3 out of 5. Still a really good episode that you should definitely check out if you're a big fan of the Naruto manga or the Naruto anime series. Thank you guys for watching my review. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And before you leave, please tell me what you thought about this week's episode of Naruto Shippuden in the comments section below. What did you think of the revival of Madara Uchiha? What do you want to see from the next couple of episodes and the final arc of the series? And are you looking forward to this whole Chunin exam filler arc? What do you want to see from that, or do you think they should just skip it entirely? Remember guys, if you have not subscribed to our channel, you can do that by clicking on the channel icon right up here, and you can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter.